Hey, cousins. I said we're going to be discussing evolution for weeks to come. It was a fantastic pay per view. One more time for the ladies. Yes, they did they thug thizzle. With that being said, I've heard a lot of people say this needs to be yearly. We need to always keep this momentum and showcase the women. And there's no reason why we can't do that because you all said the women's rosters are stacked. The women are talented. The women. Oh my God, we could be doing so much with the women. Well, Paul Levesque said, "Skirt, right there. I don't know about all that." You can't tell me that this man did not try to sabotage his goddamn show just so he could say, well, it didn't make money, so there's no reason to have it. I already said this in a previous conversation about the Evolution pay-per-view. The whole point of the first Evolution pay-per-view was because the men went over to Saudi Arabia and they were the only people allowed to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. And so the women were left back at the home front. And so WWE was like, well, the women ain't doing shit, so let's just have all the women do something to kind of counteract how they were excluded for simply being women from Saudi Arabia. And hence, Evolution centered around Ronda Rousey, again thrown together. Some more fanfare than this go round. But for the most part, this wasn't just, oh, well, we have to do work. We got to go where the money is. My bad situation. 7 years passed. We got a whole nother group of women. And so much things have changed in 7 years that when we had Evolution 2, we saw NXT, we saw Raw, we saw SmackDown, we saw damn near 100 women. Okay? All up and through that goddamn ring, giving it all they got. And this is the way Paul Levesque responds to if there's going to be more of a women's pay-per-views exclusive for women. Now, this nonpartisan brand of WWE says Cody, which is not true. Very Republican based, very Republican coded. They're going by the times. And I tell you, pro wrestling goes by the times. So if we have an all women's PLE, now we're moving into something called discrimination because that's how they busting up all these parties, right? Because if it was an all male PLE and no women on it, then his thought is then the women would get upset. But we have shown that an all women PLE does draw. People are interested and they want to see it yearly. This is a way to showcase your women. Paul Levesque is not only a fucking liar and a half dead imbecile, but this is the comment he made. So here's a little synopsis. WWE held its Evolution. We got that at the end of the company's post show press conference, which is stupid. Paul Levesque was asked if the show will be a part of WWE's regular annual schedule going forth. Here's his response. I don't want to say it's yearly, it's not yearly. I think we see what that demand is for it. Because as the demand for the women grows across the board every day, it becomes less about having their own show and more about the equality. It's all there. They don't have to have their show to be in the spotlight. But if it works, well, we'll definitely go down that road again. It's a we shall see. Meanwhile, everybody's going up, singing the women's praises. Give them more, give them more, give them more. This comment brought ire throughout the community of pro wrestling. And I feel like that's why he showcased the women on Raw for the first damn near 45 minutes of the broadcast. Okay? This is where he really just flat out lied. I don't know if it has to be a particular night for them to be inspired by women because I think the women do that every single Monday, Tuesday, Friday, whenever we have a PLE. Whenever we're having a Saturday night's main event, they're role models, they're inspiring people, they're changing their lives. That sounds dramatic to some degree, but that's the kind of thing they do. First of all, There was no women's match on Saturday Night Main Event. There was interference, but there was no match. Okay? Women barely bring up the caboose on any of these PLEs. You gotta damn near beg this fucking bug eyed motherfucker to give women the opportunity to just simply have a damn main event.
It's everybody. It's every. It's countries. It's races. It's
Wait a minute. Wait a
young
minute.
girls.
Wait. I thought he didn't see race. What?
Young boys and sometimes the young girls like the guys on the show. Sometimes the young boys like the girls on the show. It's not divided. It's just great, and there's a little something for everybody. In a night like tonight, where everybody can come here, and it's just an epic show. There's a part of me that wants to just go like, yeah, it's just an epic show. It was a women's show, yes, but it was just an epic show. It was just a WWE production show, and I like that. I love the fact that the women now are every bit a part of the show and every aspect of it, right? And at any point in time, they can main event. If it's the story, if it's the whatever that is, it's all there. Having a night like tonight where they can all come together and celebrate that, it worked out well here tonight. I think as we move forward, we'll see. I don't want to say it's yearly, it's not yearly. I think we see what that demand is for it, because as
we just had a demand for it. Everybody's going up for you, bald-headed freak. What are you talking about? You making all these goddamn excuses. Just simply say, listen, we did it tonight. Y'all asked for it. I'm going to see what happens going forth. Is it going to be yearly? No. Okay? But because we heard all this fucking commotion and shit, we just said, here, shut the fuck up. Here's your damn pay-per-view. I actually thought that it was going to flop. I didn't know it was going to be like this, but, here we are. He always want to bring up his 3 daughters who look just like him. So that, take that what you will, okay? But you talk about racist code. If you saw all of that at the beginning of that goddamn montage for the women's evolution, you would have had all of that in the beginning. You would have had some little girl with her hijab. You had some Latinos, some black folks, some white girls, boys, all that. If it was, everybody cares. You can't even fucking be honest and just put it on the table in this weak ass post bullshit that you keep doing. Every time you do these stupid ass post conferences, you sit there and put your goddamn foot in your fucking mouth. Ooh, I can't stand him.
Women grows across the board every day. It becomes less about having their own show and more about that. That's the equality. Is it's all there. And
I'm sorry. Did he say equality? Wait a minute. He said he don't see race, but he mentioned race. Now he's talking about equity. When did these women fucking main event WrestleMania? Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. Did I think that's it. I don't think another woman main evented, right? Did Sasha and I want to say Sasha and Bianca, was that a main event? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. It was monumental. It was historic. But was it a main event? I don't think so. Because now you got 2 nights. Even Charlotte and Rhea Ripley had the best fucking match on their card in a 2-night WrestleMania. Did they fucking main event? What the fuck is this guy talking about? Let's continue, please. Let's continue.
They don't have to have their show to be in the spotlight, but if it works, we'll definitely go down that road again. So I think it's a we shall see. Again, though, even tonight in the show itself, I love the fact that we had legends here from, Alundra Blaze, Medusa, to Leilani Kai, to Vicky Guerrero, it spanned generations.
Yeah, you had them in the audience, just like Saturday Night Main Event, knowing full well them women wanted to be a part of this more than just waving like fucking, set aside old handicapped people. You know full well you could have had them women show up and be a surprise or be in somebody's corner, but you're fucking creatively bankrupt. And first of all, Vicky Guerrero being around any other girls is a joke. Okay, that was the whole reason why AEW got her ass up out of there. But like I said, WWE always gonna let anybody and their goddamn mama through their doors.
of females that paved the way, that continued to pave the way, and that are doing that now. And when you get to look out in the crowd and see little girls, I don't know, there was a woman that works for us in the production studio made the cold open for tonight.
And it sucked.
Hadn't been asked to do it yet, hadn't been talked about doing it. She just came in and said, I made this in her own time and said, what do you guys think? And we were like, that's the open, right? Like, just changing the game for little girls. I have 3 girls. I see how they look at female athletes and female representation and female uh, athletes or performers that they can look up to and aspire to be like, no matter what they do in their life, right? It's a motivating, it's powerful to them. I see the same thing in little boys that watch our show. I see the same thing as they become teenagers and get older in life. And it's, again, one of my favorite things about this business. But I don't know that it has to be a particular night for them to be inspired by the women, because I think the women do that every single Monday, Tuesday, Friday, whenever we have a PLE, whenever we're having a Saturday night's main event, right? They're role models. They're inspiring people. They're changing their lives, and that sounds dramatic to some degree, but that is the kind of thing they do. And when you see our performers, the you know when you see kids come backstage and meet them, and you see the kid light up, and our performers, because I know them so well, how they light up because the kids are there lighting up, like it's such a.
You know what? Listen, he's doing all this talking because it's bullshit. It is a celebration of women pro wrestling because women in pro wrestling get the short end of the fucking stick. They get the most abuse. No one really pays attention to them. They call them bathroom breaks. They're just there for sex. For a majority of before the women's revolution, they were just fodder, mud, fucking matches, panty matches being used at whatever storyline for the males at that time. You're so pro women. The way you handle China is a fucking joke. If you were so pro women, I would actually believe Paul Levesque if he actually fixed that shit up. You better hope nobody treat one of your girls the way you treated China, and you did it in the public, and no one really sits and really digs deep into that. But you want to sit here and tell us about your fucking daughters. This is wrestling. I don't give a fuck about your kids. You obviously don't give a fuck about ours. When we say we want to see more black males on the PLE, well, I don't see color, I don't see race, I see talent. Yet to see it. Yet to see it. Yeah. Even Kevin Nash said, "Damn, Ron Killings, R-Truth at the time when he be tripping and acting kind of like a minstrel show. What does that do for little black boys?" Kevin Nash said that. Everyone sees it. We know the history of pro wrestling. Watch a goddamn episode of what's it called, Behind the Ring. Every time they have a black wrestler being fucking spotlighted, what is always the thing that is talked about? Racism. Them being held back because they black. They was in the South and the white people didn't like them, and they were called all kinds of words and such and such and such and such. They went to the WWE, but because the audience is made up of yokels, you can't get but so far as a black person or a black woman. It's an old, tried and true fucking tail. He didn't do a good job answering this. He's a fucking liar. And I'm over it and I'm tired. So if you thought you were gonna get another evolution, you thought wrong. Paul Levesque and me, I'm here to tell you, you will not begin another women's evolution because this motherfucker basically said what I said. Well, we evolved. The women could go to Saudi Arabia and wrestle. That's it. We evolved already. Women have main evented in WWE pay per views a total of 10 times, and that excludes Evolution and network exclusives. This includes one WrestleMania main event at WrestleMania 35. And this motherfucker sat there and said, women can predict our main event and they're all over the PLEs. You're a lying sack of shit. And that just made me even more disgusted. Even more disgusted. How old is WWE TV? What, 50, 55 years old? 10 times. 10 times women main evented PLE. Pay-per-view. 10 times. And here they go. Sasha versus Charlotte, Hell in a Cell 2016. Royal Rumble match 2018. Ronda versus Nikki Evolution 2018. That don't count. Becky versus Charlotte and versus Asuka TLC 2018. Becky versus Charlotte versus Ronda WrestleMania 2019. That's Bailey versus Becky versus Shayna Survivor Series. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair versus the Kabuki Warriors TLC 2019. Asuka versus Liv versus Natalia versus Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Elimination Chamber, and Shayna Baszler. Elimination Chamber 2020. Money in the Bank ladder match. Sasha and versus Bianca WrestleMania 21. That's it. This product will always heavily be geared toward males, big muscular men. And you know what though? It's gonna suffer because the WrestleMania. Listen, there are no wrestlers built like Randy Orton and fucking Roman Reigns. Those days are fucking over. Braun Breaker, for all of his achievements, he ain't no 6'7" monster, hot, sexy piece of man that turns both women and men on. But again, Paul Levesque, you're a fucking liar. You're disgusting, and you need to stop having these post conferences because you look like a fucking idiot. You guys tell me what you think in the comments.